even with a highly dedicated, professional, specialized group of archaeologists, anthropologists, historians, and paleontologists, we can only come to one conclusion. No one in the recorded history of human civilization has ever made a real ass, cool ass, actually obscure manga recommendations video. So naturally, it falls into me to do it. I've been forced to see the same goddamn manga recommended on 99% of the videos. All these fake obscure manga like Good Night Poon Poon and Monster and Fire Punch. Like all of this can be found on my anime list top 50 most popular list. Of course, to be fair though, most people aren't going to be looking at that because that would mean going out of your way to do something, and no one wants to do that. For all of you, I do that and more. So I come down here from the highest of forces to bless everyone with the absolute peak of literature. There's that shit that'll make people scared when you just name all the stuff you have in your list. This stuff wrinkles your brain. It can raise your IQ by 7. Plus, there's just a lot of manga out there without anime that will probably never get one and will never be discovered without me. These jewels are buried in just tons and tons of complete garbage, and they need my help to get them out. I am God's strongest gatekeeper. I was literally born for this. But even for me, it just gets lonely at the mountaintop. Some of the greatest shit of all time that completely BTFOs all the shit manga people are constantly dick writing is up here with me. And I think I just have to start letting them roll down now. By the way, if you have other tabs, I need you to close them right now. Keep watching the video. Have your eyes on this video. Because if you're doing some shit like applying for a job or your classwork or homework, I need you to turn that shit off. You're not gonna need that shit after you watch this video. Okay, first things first, let's start off with something really obscure. This is that shit that you will never, ever find on your own. Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fuji. Fiewer Gelder, or Bagaruta by Hiraki Samura. Okay, so basically in the story, you follow 3 women and their descent into an underground human trafficking organization run by a bunch of billionaires that spans all of East Asia and even Germany. There's all this conspiracy bullshit, and the story is just constantly moving with random shit always happening, but that's not what you're here for. What you're here for are all the bodyguards, the hitmen, and the assassins. The main character has a cybernetic arm that can shoot like plasma out of its fingertips to like cut through anything. Another girl has electrically charged high heels and pistol nunchucks. And then one of the people they encounter is this old Indian lady who is just super insanely strong for no reason. Every character is just so crazy and unique as hell, and they get into these absolutely insane fight sequences. You get people's spines being ruptured, faces getting twisted, and nutsacks getting torn off. If you like cool fights and gore, read this. It's as simple as that. And when you do read it, I need you to post about it because this manga is certified obscure. This shit has less than 10 YouTube videos on it. I am so desperate for a discussion and reaction because it's real crazy stuff. Like, real crazy stuff. Like, someone asks what manga you're reading and you're applying this German gibberish bullshit, they're gonna look at you crazy. This is my plight that I've had to deal with for the past 2 years, and now I'm passing it on to all of you guys. The manga for this one is Hiraki Samura, and he is my GOAT. He has my seal of approval. The seal is up there with like the Grammys and the Game Awards as a legitimate mark of quality. Samura's art style is amazing, and his action choreography has some of the best in the industry, and his manga is some of his best work. Not much more else to say on that front. Like, my pictures should be doing all the work right now. And on top of that, it's a pretty funny manga too. You know, there's a lot of humor. You know, there's many humor. You know, there's a lot of really unique scenes that will stick in your mind, for better or for worse. If you're looking for strong writing in the sense of a really fulfilling narrative with great thematic cohesiveness and strong fleshed out cast, I can't say you're gonna get that. Not only because I only have 31 translated chapters, but also because it's pretty rough. It can be overzealous in its graphicness, so I don't really recommend it to people who don't like that kind of stuff, but I feel like that was kind of obvious from the beginning. And it's not really handled amazingly either. Samura has seemed to not be a fan of this type of writing anymore, as his main gig right now is his current manga, which is a lot more slice of lifey, and it's totally not on this list. One of Samura's many strengths is dialogue, so between all the talking and fighting, you're definitely going to be entertained. It's a short read too, unless you want to join me in the bi-monthly waiting room. Witch Hat Atelier. This manga is getting an anime adaptation soon, so I recommend waiting for that and skipping this one. Is what I would say if I was a fucking loser! I keep calling this manga Little Witch Hat Atelier, I don't know why. The easiest way to sell this manga to someone is just to show them a page. Kamame Shirahama is an underappreciated master in this industry. The unique storybook-like paneling and composition of the manga goes such a long way in pleasing the eye. It's chapter after chapter of visual gorge. The aesthetic perfectly fits the manga story too. The manga is very much about art and how it affects society and how beautiful it all is and whatnot. The meat of this manga's enjoyment is its visuals, however, its writing does carry a lot of its own weight. Now, the reason you won't see this manga around a lot is because it's a seinen manga without some depressed dude main character on his path towards strengths after he gets betrayed with epic rage moments and power-ups. All I'm gonna say for the synopsis is that a little girl wants to learn magic. Realistically, that's all there is to the story in terms of plot. It's pretty slow, so to all the meatheads out there, this might not be your next obsession. On the other hand, to us slow story appreciators, we can see that this is a modern classic being unfolded. Anyways, the cast is very lovable, and I'm heavily promoting tapping into the key free hype before the anime onlys flood in, provided the adaptation is good. But if it is good, then it wouldn't be a seinen manga now, would it? This guy is basically the Kakashi slash Gojo of this universe, with the white hair and an eye covered in black to boot. But the real juice of the manga is its world building. The magic system is super in depth and is the core to the whole story, and all its themes and subject matter, everything. To summarize, certain symbols carry the power to do certain things, and that's that. With the knowledge of what these symbols do, you can mix and match them in whatever way you need to do whatever you want. You got people on the Reddit making their own fan-made spells, which are perfectly logical and work in the universe. Basically, too long didn't watch. It's one of the best looking manga out there, and you're not gonna regret reading it. Dead Demons Did Destruction by Inio Asano. There is an impending apocalypse at the hands of an alien invasion, but we don't know when, so we follow a group of high school girls as they live their lives during this. To anyone with a semblance of imagination, this sounds amazing. You can already picture all the funny, quirky scenes in your mind. But I know some of you don't have that, and probably think this sounds so lame. But I remember when One Punch Man was coming out. All of you were saying, how could this possibly be good? How could this possibly be interesting? This guy just, he defeats everything in one punch. Like, what more can there be? Meanwhile, on the throne of my imaginatory palace, munching on my fully realized imaginary apple, I was just pondering, overwhelmed with all the funny things, all the interesting things they could do with the concept of a guy who can kill everything with one punch. Not everything needs to be Attack on Titan and Game of Thrones levels of conceptually interesting to have a chance at being good. Now what I able to realize is because I'm not a creatively bankrupt, lame brain piece of... Anyways, if you like quirky writing and fun character dynamics, this manga would do a lot for you. Visually, it's easily Inio Sano's best work. Like this whole new direction with all these like cartooniness, quote unquote anime manga type character designs for the characters is so good. Anyways, it's very slice of lifey, especially towards the beginning. It's much more of an acquired taste to like it. It's not action orientated, and a lot of the appeal is niche outside of its drama and concept. However, it is real manga with real storytelling. Obviously, that goes for all the manga in this video, but this one especially so because it's just so much fun, unique, quirky writing that you're just not going to see that often in the manga. And it's getting an anime soon, and unless you want to wait 14 billion years for the anime to finish the manga, which it probably won't anyways, then you should just, read it. This will fill you up more than all that shit people be watching now. Jesus Christ. Some of you need to sit down and diversify your income, read some slice of life and rom-coms, bro. Hop off the shitty manhwa isekai that are literally the writing equivalent of browsing hashtag viral on TikTok. It breaks down the gray matter in your brain. It increases the likelihood of brain cancer. You guys this shit's not good for you. However, this is. Die Dark by Q Hayashida. From the creators of Dorohedoro. No, not those creators. This creator. This manga is pure fun. Real fun. And it makes me feel happy. Real happiness. Pure happiness. Amazing art composition with a super likable cast. They're all super unique. All have these fun gimmicks and everything whatnot. Handling is quick and snappy with some neat tricks just like Dorohedoro. If you like that manga, you're like guaranteed to like this manga. It's that simple. This manga is relatively new, which means there aren't that many chapters out, so it's the easiest one in the video to knock off the list. There isn't a whole lot to say. I think the pictures in the background should be selling you on this. But anyways, for those who want their little baby synapses to make their decision wah wah wah, you follow a young fella in his sentient backpack that can turn into a person across space that he just tries to chill and have fun, even though the whole galaxy wants his bones because they can grant a special wish. It kind of ducked up what he has to go through, but nonetheless, he persists. Quick rundown of the appeal is just gore and comedy. If you like funny manga, if you like gory, crazy manga, you can't go wrong with this. Wave Listen to Me by Hiroaki Samura. Another Samura manga. We all knew it was gonna happen. This guy is a top 5 manga, and if you disagree, you either haven't actually read his works, or you're blind and somehow stumbled upon this video. Anyways, so basically this lady gets really hammered and starts mouthing off at this random dude at a bar about her shitty ex-boyfriend. The random dude is actually a radio show executive who strings her along to become a radio host after he records her drunken rambles and posted it on the radio. Sounds like a nice setup for a nice story about stardom and the MC getting popular, right? Well, that is what the general story is. However, 80% of it is this one is a lot more slice of lifey. Most of the manga here are, but I think slice of life is where real storytelling happens. Some of you don't know that though. The cast is a bunch of adults, which is always refreshing to see in manga and anime. They're all funny people with funny lives and funny things to say. The manga is basically Samura showing up how much better he is at writing dialogue than every other manga, and with amazing art to boot. This is again certified real manga. It has many of the signature trademarks that make it real manga, which includes a bad / not so great anime adaptation. Also, the manga has a yokai watch reference, which automatically makes it 9 out of 10 minimum. Kingdom by Yasuhisa Hara. Speaking about shit adaptations, Jesus Christ. Kingdom is actually a pretty well-known manga, however, it is not a very well-read manga, you know? It's pretty popular in Japan, however, I'm not Japanese and neither are you, so you haven't read it. And you should. Normally, I only pick manga with very little discussion, you know, real obscure stuff, but I have to make an exception. This one has a lot. There are people making hour-long podcasts about every new chapter release. I commend them, because only like 30 other people care, including me, which is why I'm here right now. It has a lot of chapters, so it's daunting to read. It is 1000% worth it though. It's tried and true coming of age / rags to riches story, and it really doesn't get better than this. Great characters with amazing action and a unique art style, amazing villains and incredible narrative. And if you consider the history of China to be good world building, then it has that too. There is better world building out there though. All these historical stories and big unique worlds out there, but none can match humanity's history. In what fictional story can you match the US buying the largest agriculturally rich landmass in the world for the equivalent of 2 peanuts on a rock? Anyway, Kingdom is one of the manga to read and fulfills the niche of people who have caught up on One Piece that want another big journey. Chainsaw Man. Now, I already know what you're thinking. And I'm not gonna say what it is because you already know that I already know that you already know that I already know that you already know, you know? However, for reasons I will go into detail in a later video, the anime fucking sucks! Chainsaw Man is a popular manga, but a good chunk of that popularity stems from the fact that it was getting an anime adaptation, which caught upon the hideous, ugly, horrible monstrosities known as anime onlys to rise up and start chanting their evil mantras like, "I will wait for the anime to come out because it will be a better experience." Absolutely disgusting and vile. Shakes me to my core. Boils my blood. These are the people you are entrusting as your doctors, your teachers, your army, the ones protecting and watching over you. Not me though. All the professionals in my life, all the authority figures are vetted by me. Making steps towards a better community is something we should all be doing. Anyways, you guys know the deal. Chainsaw Man has chains. With saws, he saws on chains and it clears 90% of fiction. It's really that easy, guys. Something the lamestream media won't tell you is that Chainsaw Man is goated with the paneling, and that a good chunk of it can be translated into anime, among other things. The manga is objectively different from the anime, so if you truly like the series, then I suggest reading the manga to get the real frenetic and chaotic Chainsaw Man experience. And this is just literally argument, but I suggest looking at edits of the manga compared to anime to see just how different the emotions elicited are. Some will be linked in the description. They have spoilers though. Please just trust me and read the manga. I'm a very trustworthy guy. Real talk, if you like the anime, it's fine. Most of the hatred for it just stems from the fact that most people will only experience the anime and not the manga, which is the version I prefer. I also hate how much manga is looked down upon because people think audiovisual mediums are strictly better than visual ones like books and comics. Because obviously, if you're an author or comic artist, you're just wasting your life because you're not doing something as worthy as a TV show or a movie or an anime. Like, honestly, you should. Ironic, elitist comments aside, a true fan and a true artist does not look down on other mediums. They all have their own unique strengths and weaknesses.